it's just about again. And as you know, the Federal Reserve Bank had cut interest rates for the first time since 2020, in fact. But the reason this shocked literally everyone, especially Wall Street, is because Wall Street and also some people expected that the Fed will cut interest rates only by 0.25%. But instead, the Fed cut it by 0.5%. So why? That's because Jerome Powell, yes, this guy, said that the fight with inflation is done, and now they can focus on stimulating the economy, stimulating the job market, and hopefully not having the Great Depression 2.0. Very understandable. No, seriously. So now the Fed's thinking of cutting interest rates to stimulate the economy. Now, I just need to say that if you're somebody who has a high interest savings account, that this cut may actually hurt you. Actually, no, it will not may. It will hurt you. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Now, anyways, for everyone else, you may be asking, how on earth did we got here? Okay, that's a great question, even though you never asked one. So in 2008, when there was a bubble burst, interest rates were near 0%. But then came 2019, and interest rates slowly built up to 2.5% by then. But then came 2020, and then the pandemic, and then the Fed wanted to stimulate the economy by destroying interest rates into the ground, making it 0% in interest rates. Now, then it's to 2022 and the route to 2023. The interest rates were up to 5.5%, which is the highest we have seen since from the Feds in the last 2 decades. And that basically hurt everyone, because if you're someone who needs to get a mortgage, it becomes more expensive. Need someone who needs a car loan, then it becomes more expensive. And if you're someone that needs to pay off your credit card debt, that's more expensive. And that also hurts you if you're a landlord or a business owner, as now the debt that you have, the debt that most business owners and commercial landlords today have, is now going to be more expensive to pay off. Very fun, I know. So the thing is, it does benefit you if you have cash and you go into a bank account, as there's some bank accounts out there that have 5% inflation, 5% interest rate, 5.25% inflation rate, heck, even 5.5% inflation rate. So that's good for you. If that's you, then good for you. Unfortunately, I don't have that. But it also is good for you if you have bonds, as it becomes more valuable, because, well, that's how economy works. But now you may be asking, if you're like any good, normal citizen of village, I don't know, if you're any good village citizen, you may be asking, okay, well, that's cool, Lord, but what does this have to do with the economy? What does this have to do with basically anything? What does this have to do with my credit card, my car loan, my mortgage? Well, the thing is, you must know that right now I'm talking about federal funds rate, which is basically the money that banks pay when they borrow money from another bank, which is set by the central bank, aka the Federal Reserve Bank. I think I said bank 10 times in a sentence and it still makes sense. Anyways, but that's not the interest you pay. The interest you pay is set by your bank that you use. Does that make sense? No? Okay. Great to know. But then now, what will these rates do to inflation? Actually, also, what will these rates do to the housing market? Because the housing market is one of the biggest factors in inflation. And now remember, the Fed has cut rates to combat inflation and to stimulate growth, but in the economy. But yeah, it's mostly to combat this. Do you get where I'm coming from? So yeah, and then we must see what happened to the housing market, as the housing market is a great influencer in inflation rates. Now, assuming the Fed continues to cut in interest rates, then what would this do to housing? Now this is assuming that mortgages fall and and then more home buyers and may come, and more bidding wars may happen, and then won't the inflation just shoot up? Well, I mean, that was a hypothetical, but it's only time. But considering that in the last 30 days, mortgages have fell, and the amount of refinancing mortgages shot up, and there was 100% mortgage refinancing in the last year. Why? There's anticipation of the Fed to cut interest rates. People have been dug into the equity of their own homes to spend more. So, was the Fed successful in doing what they want to do? Remember, the idea is that businesses. Now, remember, the whole idea of this is that businesses can now spend more and do more stupid investments to stimulate the economy. So has the Federal Reserve Bank did a good job to prevent a recession? I don't know. So was the Fed successful? Also, that was for dramatic effect. What do you think? Tell me in the comments below.